Hello, all. This is the Officially Unofficial Geek Weekly Comic Review. I am Carrie, and I am here with your comics. I did it again. Second week in a row. I got it done by Thursday. Yay! Off to a great start. Off to a great start. I have not had any time lately to do my daily news thing. So sorry about that. But anyways, I got comic reviews for you. So, um, so kind of like last week, we're gonna talk about uh comics kind of randomly until we get to my favorite top three comic books of the week, and I will announce them when we get to that point. But we're gonna just go ahead and do this. Let's do this. First off on the hit parade is Lazarus Planet Legends Reborn one shot. This was a number of different stories from within the storyline of the Lazarus Planet event. We had a tale involving Beast Boy and Raven. That was okay. Raven kind of having to battle um, the true nature of where she comes from. We had a City Boy Nightwing situation. Um, and it's said at the end of it there's going to be more City Boy. It looked like, yeah, honestly, I'm not exactly sure what was going on there, but that's okay. Um, we had a Firestorm story within this book that really I could have taken or left it. It was okay. Um, I was actually kind of confused by exactly what was going on, if there was a problem with um, weird time jumps, or if there was a problem with like a whole like Benjamin Button kind of situation. I'm not exactly sure. It wasn't clear for me. Um, if anyone understands that, let me know. But I think the standout story in this issue was the question, Renee Montoya's story. It's basically Renee Montoya being Renee Montoya while also tapping into the whole question persona to aid in her fellow police officers' work that's being impugned by everything going on with the whole Lazarus Planet thing. And it's directly having to do with a specific case. So that was really good. I have really enjoyed anything that I've written that I've read in regards to the Renee Montoya question. We recently had some come up in I Am Batman. That was pretty good. I was very much enjoying that, and really the rest of the stories were not that big of a deal to me. The next one I'm going to talk about is the special Harley Quinn romances. It's February. It's Valentine's Day. And so we have our anthology, Oh Love, um, in romance. There were one, two, 8 different stories in here. There were some that were better than others. Some standouts include the first Harley Quinn book. So like it's like the set of stories is bookended, um, bookends with Harley Quinn stories. The first Harley Quinn story that directly involves Poison Ivy was not bad. It was pretty good actually. It was funny. Um, there's a Batman story that was actually like it was cute. I liked it. Especially the end was very cute. Um, the Power Girl story, Power Girl and All American Boy. Um, for some reason, Superman is taking time to be concerned about Power Girl's love life and fixes her up with somebody. So that's the gist of that story. There is a Constantine story that actually, it was one of the standouts, because Constantine, with the way it's presented in this inside cover, you're thinking Constantine is going to be a main focus, and yes, he is a main character in the book, but actually, it's kind of it's kind of more about a different character, and you don't really quite get that until the end, and it's actually one of these whole like love lost kind of situations. um and it's, yeah, it's actually really one of the standouts here. um you have Fire and Ice in a dating app situation, which honestly was not that great of a story. Um, there's some weird dating app that only superheroes can be on. And Ice, or excuse me, Fire is trying to find a date for Valentine's Day using that app. Um, and Ice helps her. So a standout story was the Midnighter and Apollo story, called Across the Multiverse. Um, if you were reading the Superman Warworld saga, where Midnight and Apollo were on Warworld as part of the group with Superman, you know that at a certain point, Apollo was taken over by influences that are on Warworld, and Midnighter then had to, um, would not. It was all about getting to Apollo and finding Apollo and bringing Apollo back for Midnighter at that point. Um, it's kind of a side story in the whole overall story of the Warworld saga, but it's like one of those things where it's like, oh wow, okay, so basically, Midnighter and Apollo is like one of the better love stories in the DC universe. And this kind of like flips the coin, the story. And it's starring it basically no one other of consequence other than Midnighter and Apollo. Um, you have a really fun story with the Kite-Man story, Once Upon a Romance novel, where Kite-Man is kind of imagining a great romance for himself, like you would see in a romance novel. So that was a lot of fun. It was really funny, and I really enjoyed it. The last story in there that is about different female superheroes' interactions with Kite Man, or not Kite Man, excuse me, Aquaman. Um, it it really, I didn't see a lot of it. Just seemed like near misses involving involvement with Aquaman. Um, and I don't really understand how anything that doesn't actually resemble any kind of like lust or romance would be included in this book, except to make it seem like these women were obsessed with Aquaman. I think like the I know what I want to say here, but I'm like having a hard time. they have all these female superheroes, Big Barda, um, Zatanna, Vixen, different superheroes. And it just seemed like there was a lot of importance, Black Canaries in it, a lot of importance on them thinking that they had some more um, momentous occasion with Aquaman, but it was kind of weird. And there's this joke throughout all of the stories related to, well, where was Mira? Um, and meh. Um, that's how I feel about that one. But there was, like I said, like a few standout stories. The Kite Man one was hilarious. Um, the Midnighter and Apollo one was romantic. The Harley Quinn and Ivy one was cute and funny. And let's see here. Oh, the Constantine one. Yes, that got me a little bit. That got me a little bit. Not because of the whole Constantine thing, but because the actual, like, the twist ending. So yeah. Um, so the next one I'm going to talk to you about is a new title, new number one from Marvel. It is Bloodline, Daughter of Blade. I very much enjoyed this. I very much liked it. I like vampire stuff, so yes. The only thing that I could find was um, maybe there's this part in the beginning that kind of like is supposed to kind of give us an idea or a judge of exactly where God, what is her name? Hold on one second. I don't want to get the name wrong because Brielle. Um, there's this whole like few pages of prologue to the story. It's not even really let me adjust this a little bit. It's not even really presented specifically and literally as prologue, but it is basically a prologue to the story of Brielle, who is the daughter of Blade. Who is the daughter of Blade, discovering she has these latent powers that are starting to show up, and then all of a sudden, everything is happening. And it really was one of those things where it was like, here is your normal American teenager wants to, play sports and everything like that. And then it switches over to this is what happens when she starts discovering latent vampire hunting powers. Um, and it was like, okay, so when you look at and the story is presented in this fashion as well. So maybe this was an actual like specific choice on the author's part, on Danny Lore's part, where you have Brielle is supposedly this, run of the mill, all American, I'm gonna play, baseball kind of gal, right? And then things start happening that are weird, and her hair changes, uh, and you see her, her and her mother being called into the guidance counselor's office, and the mother is like, I don't actually see a problem with her. She's getting good grades still. She just didn't want to, play sports anymore. What's the deal? My daughter's not a troublemaker or anything like that. Um, so maybe that was kind of thinking about it now. Maybe that was the point that was supposed to be made, but I don't know if I necessarily needed the preamble, the prologue to this. I think that I could have jumped into the story, and this is just a personal preference. I could have jumped into the story and without Brielle having to see a change in her, just being able to be like, okay, this is happening. But that's okay. That's okay. So we've reached that point in the show where we are hitting my top three reads of the week. So everybody, hold on to your kittens and your mittens because here we go. Um, the first book of the top three that I'm going to mention, these are no particular order, guys, but I'm going to mention Batman Legends of Gotham, number one. This is a one shot. I don't necessarily understand why they have to say that it's a number one when it's a one shot, but okay. So basically, what's going on here is you join the story, and Jason is trying to break into the Batcave. He's telling them when he meets up with Black Lightning and Katana, he's telling him that the reason he's there initially is to steal his motorcycle back. But actually, there is a reason why he's there. And Katana and Black Lightning find out, and they're like, okay, well, now that you mention it, you could really help us with this situation. And he's like, okay, so I'm going to help you guys with this situation. And it just very well includes a number of villains in the Rogues Gallery, and one in particular that there's some memory flashbacks and stuff like that um, ever since the death of Alfred happened, um, every member of the Bat family handles it in a certain way. We have definitely seen how Batman handles it. We have definitely seen how Dick Grayson handles it. We have definitely seen how Damian handles it. Um, have not seen, to my knowledge, a lot about the Batgirls, but the main focus of all of these characters, the main people, the main characters that had the most interaction with Alfred are Batman Bruce Wayne, and all of the male Robins that actually lived in the house at a certain point. Okay, so we have also seen how Jason has been dealing with things. And Jason Todd is true to form. Um, there's a certain desire he has involving dealing with that. And you have some flashbacks of him and Alfred. So, spoiler alert, there's some flashbacks of Alfred in this because it's spoiler yet not spoiler. If you've been keeping up with any of the Bat titles, it's pretty par for course that Alfred is basically the voice in everyone's head. Um, and this book was no different, and that's probably one of the reasons that it shows that vulnerability that Jason does have, and that's probably why I liked it so much. Plus, twist ending. So twist ending to the book that was really fun. It was fun because it was kind of funny, and it was kind of not what you're expecting at all when you turn that page to see that. And it's not a flash ending. You got a couple pages, but it's I very much enjoyed it. It was a twist ending. Um in the not so traditional sense, but yes. So that was cool. Plus, I like the whole, like, we're gonna use Jason Todd more thing that's been happening lately. Like, we had the Task Force Z series, we had the Batman Urban Legends with the Chair Drops six part story. We had we have Joker, the man who stopped laughing. We have that going on, and Jason's involved. So I like that. We have a Lazarus Planet um, tie-in that's coming next week that Jason is supposedly involved in. I mean, if you can trust what's being said in synopsises, and you can trust what's being shown on the cover, Jason Todd is involved. But sometimes covers lie. Sometimes synopses lie. So we'll have to see what happens there. I have not seen anything besides that yet. But the next book that we're going to talk about is another Marvel book. And if you recall, I got this kind of late. And I got the number one kind of late. And this is number two of The Scarlet Witch. I am very much a fan of the whole with great great responsibility comes, with great power comes great responsibility idea. And this is kind of visited on the Scarlet Witch in her storyline, where she believes that she has a lot of stuff to make up for in her past. So what she's doing is she started the store, and there's it's a metaphysical new age store, but there's this one door, and I love it. Like, and it repeats the idea of the door at the beginning of every issue, where it says, if your need is great and your hope is gone, there you will meet the Scarlet Witch. Um, so there's a door, the door of last hope, I believe is what they call it. Um, and if you are at your wit's end, if you are all out of hope, like the saying says, you will go through a door, and then suddenly you'll be in the Scarlet Witch's store. We learned in the last issue, near the end, that she has a shop girl, a shopkeeper, and that is Darcy, best known for being the assistant to Jane Foster. Um, she, you find out she came through the door, but she has not told um, Wanda why she came through the door. She just started working for Wanda until she felt comfortable enough to tell Wanda why she was there. And then also at the end of that issue, you had somebody come through the door, and it was Vision. And so this issue talks about um, the really interesting thing going on for Vision. She is having nightmares, and Wanda's like, okay, well, I'm going to help you with that. There's a secondary story that has guest starring. It's still within the realm of the Scarlet Witch and her shop and everything like that, where she is going on a little bit of a recon um, supply mission. She gets Storm to come with her on like a little bit of a supply mission, where she convinces Storm to um, allow herself to give into the power of her ancestors. And I loved that part. Oh my god. Like, the thing is what's really cool about the Scarlet Witch is that it's very much a, if you understand anything about like those kind of new age religions and everything like that, like it really does um it really does it well, where it's still borrows elements from it, but it's also a superhero book. You know, you're not just sitting there reading about somebody that's practicing Wicca. You're reading a superhero book still, but there's like the ideas that do seep in, and it's very nice for anyone that is familiar with anything like that. So I just really like this story so much. And it's surprising to me because it's a Marvel book, and normally I'm such an unapologetic DC fangirl. But I am loving the Scarlet Witch so much. Anyways, one last book to talk about, guys, and it is another one that is not DC. Oh my goodness. Be surprised. I read a book from Dark Horse, a new #1, and I found myself laughing with this book, and Where Monsters Lie. New #1, like I said, from a Dark Horse. So, um, the premise of this book is that there is a gated neighborhood where slashers live, and they feed into a dark evil by killing. But the point is that you're not supposed to bring it home into the neighborhood, and that when that happens, that produces a chain of events that happen that this book is appears that it's going to be based off of, um or stemming from. uh it's funny. um there are moments that I was actually laughing out loud. There are moments where it was a quick, easy, fun read, and it is kind of like a horror comedy. Um, and it was really good. I really enjoyed it. So if you like a good horror comedy, check out Where Monsters Lie from Dark Horse Comics #1. If I were to say that I had a issue that I loved the most this week, it is probably this one. Um, Possibly tied with the Scarlet Witch. Um, the writers on this one: Kyle Starks, Peter Kowalski, Vladimir Popov, and Joshua Reed. I apologize if I am mispronouncing anybody's freaking name there. Sorry. I'm trying. Um, and just so you know, Scarlet Witch, since I said that that was one of my, like, tied with this one. The writer on Scarlet Witch is Orlando. The artist is Pichelli and Wilson. Let's see here. Let me get a full set of. Steve Orlando, writer. Sarah Pichelli, artist. Uh, Elisabetta Diamonico, inking. Matthew Wilson, Corey Pettit. Yeah. So the two best books this week for me, and that's weird because they're not DC. Oh my. Carrie branching out, guys. What the heck? Um okay, so it isn't the first time I branched out, but you know what? It's like I am going to say that I'm going to say that it's been this week was my 2-year anniversary of the channel. Um, I saw, like, on Facebook Memories, my first post to the channel happened on January 31st, 2 years ago. And I really love doing this, and I have a good time doing this. This is something that when I started doing this, I wasn't sure, but I was trying it out. Originally, officially Unofficial Geek was started out as a podcast, and it was then a podcast, and this channel was supposed to be the the companion thing to the podcast, and then pretty quick, like, the podcast was no more, and it was just this channel. Trying to branch out a little bit again with the blog and everything like that. And if you're interested at all in the blog, the written world of the Officially Unofficial Geek, I'm going to have information about that in the description, of course. I think I really found who I am here. Spent a lot of time trying to figure out who I was as an adult. And it's really weird being 41 years old, and of course, 2 years ago, not being 40, but still close to it, pushing 40, trying to figure out where you belong and finding it. It's pretty cool. Um, that being said, please comment, let me know what you thought of this week's comics. Let me know what you thought of my reviews. Please, I want nothing more than to have this channel and everything I do grow and expand and all that. So if you like what I'm doing here, please like, share, subscribe, share with your friends. Let them know, hey, the Officially Unofficial Geek, that Carrie, she ain't a bad reviewer. I mean, it's happened before, but keep on letting people know. Keep on putting it out there. Keep on putting my name out there. And I promise I'm going to keep putting out this content. Um, and I'll keep trying my best to improve as well. So, thank you very much for joining me this evening, or today, or tomorrow, whenever you happen to be watching this, because it's already starting to get a little bit late. Sorry, guys. But, anyways, I really enjoy doing the daily news thing, and I've got stuff going on this weekend, so we're going to try to pick that back up as many days as I can a week, starting probably next week. But anyways, we got other stuff going on here. Check out What's Happening Wednesday, where Joe and I talk about our reactions to the James Gunn DCU news. Let's see here. I've got some Outlander stuff. I've got some Doctor Who stuff, in addition to my normal regular stuff that I do. So check it out. Let me know what you think in the comments, and thank you for being here. See you soon. I'll be seeing ya. Bye.